We're going to continue now with that topical guide to the Bible when we're in that section on faith in complete allegiance, where we're reading that section from that gospel. And we had taken the Thompson Chain Reference Bible, which I was reading from, and there's a little more in that, so I will read that now and then I will show you something else in regard to it. But what we have here is, again, we left off right at verse 33, I believe it was. And now here are the other things on the side when we get to, no, it was verse 28. Now, the next one is Counting the Cost. That's the title. And then it says Towers, Forethought. Then we go to verse 29, Backslider, Mocking. Verse 30, apostasy, spiritual failure. And then it says the parable of the king going to war. And under that it says, and this is verse 31, spiritual warfare, prudence, counsel, forethought, and war. And then we get to verse 32, ambassadors, social peace, ambassage. And then we get to verse 33, leaving all, and discipleship. So those are the sidebars, and I will show you them here. You see the sidebars on the side of all of these pages. And there you can see, not only do you see the numbers to go look at in the back, but you also see the other places where you can go to find it. So this in itself is an immense way to get further depth in this talk that Jesus gave, which in itself has great depth, and he does that on purpose. Now, where I said hyperbole or hyperbole, what the Expanded Bible means by that is, I think that the Expanded Bible is saying Jesus doesn't mean that actually, that you should really hate your mother, father, brothers, sisters, and so forth. But what he means that you should not be caring for or loving others or doing what they want more than what Jesus wants or what Jesus is. I think that's what that means. Now, another Bible, of course, that we've used before, and I mentioned, is the Nave's Study Bible, which is also quite a remarkable piece of work, I must say. And now, if we go to the same place in Scripture that we went before for this, of course, we would be able to read it. But what happens with the Nave's Bible is you do have the same things on the side as far as what the verses mean and so forth. But when you get to the actual place we're dealing with here, you will have similar things on the sidebar that we had in the previous Bible. For example, if you're in chapter 14 and you go to verse, what do we say, 25 or 20 something? Let's see if this is right. No, I'm in the wrong place. Let me get back to where we belong here. Let's see. Well, anyway, what I'm getting at is in this Bible, there will be sidebars, just like in the other Bibles. And it has it actually by verse, so you can actually find out what it says. And then it does have the same type of words, and it shows you where you can find others. But what is interesting about this one, if it goes to a certain section, you will find an entire section on just the word faith. Now, that's what's interesting about this, and I will show you what it looks like. I'm thinking it'll be a little hard to see, but on this side of the page, right here, all of this 2 columns. The whole thing is about faith in different ways, and even goes to the bottom of the next page. So that is very much like the other Bibles, except that in the Nabe's study Bible, this section on faith is somewhat like the Topical Bible, which has that under a great deal of possibilities. Now, I'll give you a quick example. For example, it has just plain faith, and then it shows you all the places where you can find that. Prayer for decrease of, secure salvation, inspired by God's goodness, miracles brought by faith, strengthens by miracles, and gives examples. In afflicted examples, in adversity, examples of faith and all those who have had it in adversity. Enjoined faith, exemplified faith, all the places you can find them. Instances of faith, all the places you can find them. Israelites, and then it gives all those people who had that. David in smiting Goliath, Job, Elijah, Daniel, Ninevites, Mary, Luke, Joseph, and then trials of faith. You go all the way through these many, many books and so on and so forth. And then you go over here and their inability to cast out, and so forth and so forth. So all of this has to do with faith. And that is a huge amount of scripture to read in there. So there's an example of not only the sidebars, which are, of course, available as in the other Bibles, and they are excellent sidebars, which you see there, but this is an example of how in the Nabe's Bible, you get a huge amounts of extremely good notes that are put in specific places for specific subjects. And of course, also, you can go in the back of this and find places where you can find that subject as well in other places. So that's another example of another Bible you can use. And I will have even a third one in our next discussion of this one passage from the Topical Guide to the Bible that deals with faith. We will be back soon.